Chronicles TV on air. We are now live in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back to another episode of the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. In the previous episode, we suspended the trial, and now we're back to the investigations. What the heck happened to... Oh wait, this is the past. We don't have our desk yet. Phew, we made it back in one piece. Just to be perfectly honest, I thought we were finished there for a while. Oh, I know. What a lot of close shaves. There are so many carriages on the streets in London. You were very nearly flattened several times. Oh no, I didn't mean that. Yes, I know. It was a marvelous defense, Naruhodo-san. It really was. And I was in awe of you. Oh, thank you? Now that your fervent exploits have won us some more prescient investigation time. Let's see if we can't find new clues for court tomorrow. Let's see if we can't. Yes, let's do that. Is everything alright? I suppose I still can't quite believe it that is all. I'm here in England working as a lawyer, I mean. In the Old Bailey, no less. The truth is, it shouldn't be me, should it? It should be him standing in my shoes. It should be Kazuma. It was Kazuma-sama's wish that you follow him to the Great Britain and work alongside him. Yes, I mean, I never had the chance to ask him exactly why, but he clearly had a plan. I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for him. You're doing so wonderfully, Naruhodo-san. No doubt that Kazuma-sama would say exactly the same if he were here with us. Thank you, Susato. Thank you. Yeah, I was gonna say what up to her desk, but no, this is before they got all their stuff like reevaluated. Do we have to talk with her? It was quite a shock earlier today, wasn't it? When the victim himself turned up in the court and took the stand. I know. Not only that, but the finding out that he was actually a bar-faced gas thief as well. Yes, that was certainly a surprise to us all. For a while, it seemed as though everyone had quite forgotten about Soseki's poisoning the tea. Careful your phrasing, Susato. He didn't poison anything. And there's more to this, Mr. Shenspire, than we can get to know, I'm sure of it. Mr. Shenspire certainly wasn't the noble, upstanding man everyone thought he was at first. What's become of him, actually? I was told that he's been returned to the hospital ward where he was receiving treatment. Oh, which one was that? Let me see. At St. Bartholomew, or Bart's as Londoners call it. We know that place, don't we? Yes, we visited Miss Green there yesterday. It's the same hospital to which she was taken. Ah, yes, after Soseki-san stabbed her in the back. Do be careful your phrasing, Naruhodo. He didn't stab anyone. Perhaps we both owe Soseki-san an apology. So, we know that Soseki-san took tea to the victim of the night in question. And as he's in the culprit then, obviously. Yes, the poison surely wasn't the tea. But if that's the case, how on earth did the poison get into Shemspeare's body? I'm sure we'll find a clue in the scene. There must be something in Shemspeare's room that will help us. Well, naturally, Scotland Yard detectives have been all over the place already. But it couldn't hurt for us to have another look around, I think. Definitely. And I'm desperate to know the outcome of the investigation into the tea left in the bar of soap. Well, if we run into Inspector Gregson, we could ask him about that. Kazuma Asogi, the best friend I ever had, and a lawyer with such promise. He really saved my bacon in that horrible incident just before we left Japan. I could still picture him now, looking so fierce and determined in court. And then after the trial, that crazy idea he came up with. As a stowaway? Yes, you could fit inside my trunk if you curl up small enough. I'm sure no one will know. Kazuma, won't you tell me why? Why go to these lengths so that I can accompany you to Great Britain? Well, it's been on my mind ever since we got through the trial. That you really ought to go into law. Be a defense lawyer. You've got a natural talent for it. Believe me, I guarantee it. I never even thought about becoming a lawyer. Well, I can't force you, obviously. You'll have to decide for yourself. But anyway, London is the cultural capital of the world. The city at the forefront of everything. It can't hurt for you to see it with your own eyes. No, that's true. I suppose, though, if you were to become a lawyer, then one day... One day what? Oh no. Never mind. Naruhodo-san? Oh, sorry, I was just thinking about Kazuma. Yes, he's forever in my thoughts too. To change the Japanese judicial system for the better. That was his dream. And that's why he so desperately wanted to come to Great Britain to study, of course. Yes, that's right. But... Yes? I do wonder if his true intentions lay elsewhere sometimes. I don't know. The thought just takes hold of me every now and then, that's all. Come on, son! Naruhodo-san, what do you mean by Kazuma's true intentions? The sword! I mean this. His katana? I never expect to inherit his sword after Kazuma passed away, of course. No, I know. It was because I asked you to take it. When I have it in my side of the court, I feel as though it gives me courage. Yes. Actually, the night before he died, he told me a little about the sword. Karuma? That's right. It's a prized sword that's been passed down through generations of the Asogi clan. A Japanese man's sword is his soul, Ryunosuke. I can't be parted from my katana. Karuma guides me. I truly believe that. So its name compels its wielder to slice evil in two. Not that you need much compelling. On that subject, there's something very important that I have to do in Great Britain. Something you have to do? Yes. I appreciate you seeing it through with me. Of course I will. Whatever it is, I'll see it through to the end with you. I knew you would let me down. What did he mean by that? Something very important that I have to do. I had hoped that the answer to that question wouldn't become apparent when we arrive here, but as yet, I've not found a single clue. I see. Alright. Anyone at the Shom Suite? Second February Shom Suite. Oh, Runo and Susie! Hooray, you're back! Hello, Iris. You're in fine spirits as always, I see. I am, and your look as immaculately present as ever, Susie. Oh, you flatter me. Well, you couldn't have come on a better time. I'll just make a pot of tea. I'll set some cups. Really? Thanks, Iris. But actually, what is that foul smell? Aha! The Wanderers return at last. Where on earth have the pair of you been? We've been in court. Oh, for a mustache case? That was today, was it? I'm sure I mentioned it only yesterday, Mr. Sholmes. I'm sure you did! Ah, 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 ah! Well, we can laugh about it now. So tell me, how did the trial go? Reasonably well so far. We managed to escape without a guilty verdict at least. Really? I would have liked to see it. And I must pass the time of day with Mr. Reaper again. It's been too long. Is Lord Von Zucht an acquaintance, Mr. Sholmes? Naturally. There's not a person in the world who doesn't know my name, Mr. Naruhodo. Not quite what I asked, but still. Mr. Sholmes, whatever is that odor? Yes, what is it? It's faint, but absolutely awful. Ah, indeed, that's a sign of victory, my dear fellows. Victory in science. Oh, dear. Alright, I'll bite. What's he up to now? Lord Barak von Zykes? Yes, it's an interesting sobriquet. He has, isn't he? The Reaper of the Bailey. Once the legendary prosecutor has fought for someone in conviction, the person is doomed. Even if he or she is not found guilty by the courts, sooner or later that hapless soul will be vanished from the capital. Would vanish how exactly? By falling under a passing carriage or drowning in the Thames, or succumbing to a sudden fever or quite out of the blue, being set upon by the highwayman. There are numerous routes to one's final terminus, my dear fellow. It's all seemed a little far-fetched, really. Well, on the bright side, Mr. Moustache is fighting fit, for the time being at least. That's not overly reassuring. If the rumors are true, though, the obvious conclusion would surely be that acquainted are, well, by Lord von Zykes' own hand. As it happens, Mr. Sato, that is quite impossible. Oh, why? Naturally, the man very quickly came under such suspicion. However, whatever these incidents occurred, the Reaper always had a cast-iron alibi. Really? And so his reign continued, but 5 years ago, he vanished from the courts, never to appear as a prosecutor again. That is until you arrive in the country, Mr. Naruhodo. Yes, so I've heard. In fact, it was the very day I arrived when I was thrust into the trial at the Old Bailey. That bitter fight to the death coincided with the Reaper's resurrection, and really did end bitterly ended, indeed. And here you are facing Mr. Reaper again. Poor Runo, I don't know if you're just incredibly unlucky, or incredibly unlikable. I think it goes deeper than just me. I sense a general loathing of all Japanese people. So what is that indescribably foul smell? Ah, well, most probably this, I would say. What is that? My dear fellow, it is, of course, my latest invention. A chemical test that can identify whether or not a tea is genuine at the drop of some tea. Oh my, that's what we need. There are some unscrupulous sorts manning the stalls along some London less frequent streets. They regularly sell that what purports to be high quality tea, but is in fact merely dyed leaves of drab flavor. Well, that's certainly unsavory behavior. So when one is presented with what appears to be black tea, one must be careful. Iris! At the ready, Hurley. Let us add a drop of chemical to this cup of tea here. Do you see what happens? It becomes black. My thoughts exactly. And what a foul odor it's giving off. Indeed, the blacker the tea becomes, the more foul the odor, the better the tea is. Huh? It would appear that the cup was particularly fine, Darjeeling. That's very ingenious, but what do you do with the black liquid now? Why, dispose of it, naturally. Surely you wouldn't like to drink it, would you? There does seem to be a rather obvious problem with your new invention, Mr. Sholmes. Hence why this chemical test is merely a test, my dear madam. Right. The point is, we are entering a new era of science. In the world of criminal investigation also. Yes, forensic science. Oh, these are such exciting times. I regularly engage in this scientific experimentation alongside my unofficial consulting detective work. The Herlock Sholmes method will be foundation upon which modern investigation technique is based. This little tea indicated was a happy byproduct of my ongoing forensic science research. Forensic science? Suppose I should find out more about that. With Mr. Natsume, whom I'm currently defending, being Japanese as well as Mr. Sato and myself, I felt even more keenly in court today. For some reason, Lord von Zykes seems to have an inherent disdain of the Japanese. Indeed, it is an interesting observation. Do you know something about it? Do you, Mr. Sholmes? It was about 10 years ago that Varric von Zych chose to enter the legal profession. However, before that time, the young man's closest companion hailed from the Empire of Japan. No. What the? Tell us more. What happened? I believe I made it clear before. I'm unable to tell you anything about the affair. Oh, but... The veil will be lifted on the events of the past in due course, I have no doubt. For now, however, it is Mr. Moustache who's the most deserving of your attention, I believe. So, your T-test, is that an example of forensic science? Indeed it is. An essential tool in cases they hinge on the knowledge of whether some tea is higher or inferior quality. Not a huge number of cases then. Perhaps a more practical example is required. Fingerprints. Not yet accepted in our corpse as evidence, I might add. Really, we are dragging our heels there. I hadn't even heard of them until recently. Which is partly why I undertake research in this field myself, of course. Does that mean you're studying fingerprints, Mr. Sholmes? There are others in that field already, and I've heard they accompany of inferior minds. No, what I'm researching is skin prints. Skin prints? Non-manculture. My own design is as this chemical agent that makes it possible. It certainly reveals objects touched by whichever person is under investigation. Brilliant, Mr. Sholmes. As long as it doesn't turn everything completely odorous and black. As I assure you, my dear fellows, you will witness my forensic talents in action very soon indeed. Well, I think we should go back to the scene and see if we uncover any new clues. That's the spirit, Runo. See you later. Yes, until later. No, Mr. Sholmes, we were thinking you come with us. To where? Yes, of course. You said just a moment ago. You said we witnessed your forensic talents in action. Ah, yes, I do recall something about those lines. But you go on ahead. I shall be sure to follow you later in all likelihood. Probably. Maybe. Well, I might. Your commandment astounds me. Oh, thank you, Mr. Sholmes. We eagerly await your arrival. Bye-bye, Runo. Bye-bye, Susie. Next. Are they the same? Yeah. Let's go check it out. St. Bartholomew's Hospital. What do you suppose is happening? It sounds like some sort of disturbance. Yes, I hear angry voices. Be not angry, O ample lady. Verily thou art mistaken. Mistaken my foot. You were looking at my painting. The eye of man hath not heard. The ear of man hath not seen. 'Twas foul indeed, the poison that moustache villain gave it me. Forgive me, thy lady. I wish that you die from that poison. God have mercy, ample lady. Be thou seest, I have vigor still. Behold my Shakespeare dance! This looks rather ominous, doesn't it? Ah, lo, 'tis the lawyer from the land whence riseth the sun. How now? What are you doing here, Mr. Shakespeare? Mary, I do believe I am returned unto another ward. He was looking what he was doing, looking at my terrible work. Yo! Eastern fellow, so darkly clad. Faith, thy work in court this morning was wonderful. I do applaud thee. Oh, well, thank you. But that doesn't mean things will go so wonderfully for you tomorrow, does it? It's not straight. It's straight now. Non-exunt. I don't know what this means. He dipped. Mr. Shamson might technically be the victim in this case, but there's definitely a lot more to it than that. It's very hard to pin the man down. I'm so sorry. I'm such an awful person. Ah, Miss Green. Is everything alright? Oh, yes. I mean, don't worry about me. They're about to discharge me, so I must get ready to leave now. Oh, I see. We're delighted that you will soon be well enough to go home, Miss Green. Oh dear, you're too kind. I don't deserve it. Can we talk? So, are you feeling more likely yourself today, Miss Green? I am, thank you. I mean, people do recover from ordeals like this, don't they? Even people like me. Well, yes, it's really an ordeal, wasn't it? As far as I was concerned, I was just walking along in the snow one evening, minding my own business. And then, completely out of the blue, I was struck in the back by a knife and collapsed unconscious for days. Of course, when I finally woke up again yesterday, the whole business had been cleared up already. What a terrible week it's been for you. Oh no, I'm sure I'm very lucky, really. I'll look back on this fondly. Really? Anyway, I must be getting my things together now, so I really need to be discharged. Oh yes, of course. Sorry to take up your time when you're obviously busy. That must be a bag of Miss Green's personal belongings. She would have been brought directly here after she was found stabbed on the pavement, though. I expect a friend or family member probably brought some things for her. Alright then, let's see what's inside. A change of clothes, no doubt, and... No, Mr. Naruhodo, you must never scrutinize a young maiden's personal belongings. But the young maiden might have chocolates, or biscuits, or caramel. We can't forget about the caramel. What painting was she talking about? Medicine! There are lots of bottles in that cabinet, aren't there? Do you think it's safe to keep them like that? Hey, if you were a patient here, I feel you should take some medicine by mistake when you were half asleep. That is a worry, but at least the cabinet has a lock. If only it's only flimsy looking one. Oh, I've no doubt you managed to unlock that somehow while you were half asleep as well. There are limits even to what I can do when I'm half asleep, you know, Mr. Sato. There are all sorts of medicines in this cabinet. Look, I'm not sure if it's safe leaving them in reach of everyone like this. Yes, you're right. I can imagine if you were peckish, you might try a whole bottle or two. Well, at least there seems to be a little lock to secure the cabinet doors. I don't imagine that would stop you if you were hungry. I worry that you break the lock. Hunger doesn't turn me into a criminal, you know, Mr. Sato. Alright, next up... the scene of the crime! 22nd February. Oh, hello again, Inspector Gregson. What are you doing here? Well, we're hoping to have another look around, actually. The lawyer representing the defendant has right to examine the scene, as I'm sure you're aware. Yeah, I know the score. Oh, yes, one other thing. The soap with the ledge outside the window. Did you find it? With the tea in it? Yeah, we found it alright, and there was a small amount of tea in it, as you said. I knew it. That's what the identification section at the yard now. They're looking into it. The results should be available later today. That's wonderful news, thank you. Yes? Pretty impressive performance in court this morning. Sorry? Nothing, forget it. Just make sure you don't disturb anything here. Hey. Why? Mr. Sholmes, what are you up to over there? What a question indeed. Was it not your good self who asked me to attend the scene? Oi! What are you doing here, Sholmes? What are you up to over there? What are you doing over here? I don't know. Dear me, once a great detective, one is always under scrutiny, it seems. Is now the time, Mr. Sholmes. Are you about to show us your forensic talents in action as you promised? With the greatest of pleasure, my dear madam. Cutscene time? Nope. What's all this? All this is precisely what you requested, Mr. Naruhodo. Herlock Sholmes is essential skin print seeker gun. Moments ago, I took a sample from the teacup that was used by the victim. A sample from Mr. Shakespeare's cup? Each individual leaves microscopic secretions on everything he or she touches. A sample of those secretions is all I need to produce this, a refined indicator solution. By liberally spraying the room with this chemical, everything the victim touched is instantly revealed with the aid of these goggles. Here, try them on. There now. Spray the chemicals indicator about all will be revealed. Spray? How do I do that exactly? A little press of A in the area you're interested in is all that's required, like this. What is that stuff? It's like fog. A suspension of the chemical indicator is a pressurized gas. It's the most efficient way to cover a large area. That was another invention I discovered incidentally whilst I was developing this idea. As you do. Go ahead, try it, my dear fellow. We may learn something interesting about the victim's movements on the night in question. Well, there's nothing to lose, I suppose. Let's explore. Alright, we got this bad boy. I got nothing to be afraid of. Yo, ho, ho, ho. What's all this? Yo, what's with all the handprints? What the heck is all this? Am I supposed to spray the entire thing? As I'm just spraying around for no whatever reason. There are hands all over it. You gotta love the sound of this theme, to be honest. You gotta like it. Okay, I think that's everything, because I'm not getting anything else, so. There's more? What am I spraying? How do I get out of this? Ayo, Chief. I have no idea what I'm doing. I thought we got everything done already. Do we have to keep going until everything's all sprayed out? Oh, shoot. How do I get out of this? How long do we keep doing this? Oh, the envelope. Oh, look at this here. Ah, yes, interesting. A multitude of the victim's handprints. Why are there so many on the floor in this spot? Oh, perhaps he had a bad fall just here. There's nothing obvious that he would have to trip over there, though, is there? I wonder. Personally, I often stumble when there's nothing obvious to trip over. I think there's something only a great detective would do, Mr. Sholmes. Well, this is quite puzzle. Handprints all over the floor. Yes, there's no obvious explanation. Anything else? Can I just examine this then? Oh, wow. Then what else am I supposed to look for? What? Look there, doesn't have handprints there. Here. So they are, a great many indeed. So many so that it's hard to make out of any individual prints. In fact, it sends a chill down my spine. Perhaps he was leaning against the wall while he was admiring the picture? Unlikely, I would say. It's a rather dull scene after all. And without wishing to state the obvious, you wouldn't generally admire a picture from such close quarters, I feel. Oh, very true, Mrs. Sato. It's a bit of mystery then. Well, we sprayed Mr. Shum's amazing skin print indicator all over the room, didn't we? We did, but there are two places in particular that are in interest, I would say. The handprints on the floor there, and on the wall by the picture, you mean? Yes, and I think the floor warrants closer investigation. It won't be a moment. Ah! What is it, Mrs. Sato? Look here, Mr. Naruhodo. One of the floorboards has been popped. What the? You mean it's a secret hiding place? Excellent work, Mr. Sato. So, what do we have here? Oi! What are you lot doing? Inspector Gregson. Stand aside right this minute. It's my job to investigate there. No need, Inspector. You can continue to dig your portion of chips while we dig around under the floor here. Your fancy talk's putting me off my food anyway, Sholmes. A new bit of evidence is exactly what I need. Do it, Gregsy. Wow, a secret hiding place under the floor. What a find. It's not a hiding place you can make use of, Japan. I don't think I could lift a straw tatami mat. No, I know. I never expected one of these wooden floorboards to move either. It's got me wondering about the wall over there too. Aren't you curious? Oh! I'll investigate at once. There's nothing behind the picture, sadly. Only the wall. How disappointing. But then how do you explain the handprints? I really can't think anyone would have been touching the wall over and over in one place like that. Yo! There you are, a print for you. Oh, thank you very much. His invention can make prints too. Now then, I wonder if Inspector Gregson has found anything under the floor there. I'm desperate to know. So am I. Gregsy! I'd love to know if there's anything hidden underneath the floorboard there. Allow me to ask Gregson now. After all, we're well acquainted. Inspector Gregson, really? It's been too long. What is it, Sholmes? I thought perhaps you might show me what you found there, seeing as we're such good friends. We're not friends. No, I suppose not. A dismal failure. Yes, I heard. I killed to know what was under the floorboard. Alright then, fair's fair. What? You did discover the hiding place after all. I suppose I should at least fill you in. Really, Inspector? Thank you. Do it quickly, my dear fellow. If there's one thing I know about this man, it's that he blows with the wind as fickle as the weather. Oi, stop making me out some kind of nut. There were 3 items under the floor there. A newspaper clipping, a photographic print, and a tin box. Now, what do you want to know? All 3. Looks like he was cut out of the paper about 3 months ago. And it's about a convict who got sick and died while he was serving time at Manchester. How terrible. It made the headlines down here in London as well. The bloke got sentenced to death, you see, but nature got him first. Oh my goodness, he committed a capital offense? Man by the name of Selden. Nasty piece of work into burglaries and murder. They say that he knocked up was worth about £1,000. A hoard? Treasure, you mean? Jewelry and the like, but he hid it somewhere, and no one knows where, and he's now dead. The papers loved it, of course. £1,000 lost en route to hell, some such headline. Does it not strike you, though? Why such an article would be so carefully ensconced under the floor? I suppose now you mention it, it does seem a bit odd. Perhaps I'll go over the paperwork we've got on Selden back in the yard and see if I can turn anything up. So this is the photograph I found. Looks reasonably recent to me. Eh? Have I seen that guy on the right before? Yes, it appears we have taken on the street in front of the house here. And the gentleman on the left is Mr. Garridib, the landlord, of course. But who's the young man on the right? Mr. Garridib's son, perhaps? Why does he look familiar on the right? Perhaps you can take the print if you like. Really? Are you sure? We can presume, therefore, that the yard already knows the identity of the young fellow that is? Is that true? Well, it's too bad if we do. Unfortunately for you lot, leaking information is one of my pastimes. My dear Inspector, if I may be so bold to point at something out. Pastimes are for one leisures, but this is for work. All the more reason I'm not telling you. A dismal failure. Yes, I heard. I wonder why a photograph like this was hidden under the floor. I mean, Mr. Shamshian himself isn't in it. Photographer prints are still rare treasures in the East End. I imagine Mr. Garridib was rather delighted to have it been immortalized. He probably made a proud present of it. Now, this Churn Box looks interesting, doesn't it? I suggest, Inspector, that you open it. If you were to find something inside that reveals the truth behind this case, I wouldn't be at the least surprised. Funnily enough, I've had already a look. It's complete empty. What? Shamspear, give us a clue, man! You didn't even have the chance to utter a word, Mr. Naruhodo. But anyway, at least we found out what's inside the box. Yes, thin air, it's empty, rather like how I feel inside. Is there nothing more in this box then? I wonder. Wagahai! Sup? Oh look, it's the lovely little kitty cat. What was his name? It's Mr. Natsume, isn't it? I don't think we ever asked him actually. Why don't we call it, Wagahai? You know, like Natsume refers to him in Japanese? I wonder how he got in here. Clever cat. Oh, wonderful. Well then, Wagahai, here's something delicious I bought for you from the cat's meat man. Wagahai! Aww. Heh, he couldn't be happier now, look. I just hope we can bring some happiness to his owner too. Rated everything here. Wagahai! What's up? That was a cheeky little meow, Wagahai. Aww, but he's so adorable. I could sit and watch him forever. I think he may not appreciate that after a while, and we have investigation to get back to.